Chapter 2. So I lived alone, without anyone I could really talk to, until a breakdown in the Sahara Desert 6 years ago. Something had broken in my engine, and since I had no mechanic or passengers with me, I prepared to attempt a difficult repair all by myself. It was a matter of life and death. I barely had enough water to drink for 8 days. On the first evening, I fell asleep on the sand 1,000 miles from any inhabited land. I was much more isolated than a shipwrecked person on a raft in the middle of the ocean. So you can imagine my surprise at sunrise when a funny little voice woke me up. It said, "Please, draw me a sheep." Huh? Draw me a sheep. I jumped to my feet as if struck by lightning. I rubbed my eyes well. I looked closely, and I saw an extraordinary little fellow staring at me gravely. Here is the best portrait I managed to make of him later. But of course, my drawing is much less charming than the model. It's not my fault. My career as a painter was discouraged by grown-ups at the age of 6, and I didn't learn to draw anything other than closed and open boa constrictors. So I stared at this apparition with eyes wide in amazement. Don't forget, I was 1,000 miles from any inhabited area, yet my little fellow didn't seem lost, tired to death, hungry, thirsty, or scared. He didn't resemble a child lost in the desert, 1,000 miles from any inhabited area. When I finally managed to speak, I said to him, "But what are you doing here?" And he repeated softly, as if it was a very serious matter, "Please, draw me a sheep." When the mystery is too impressive, one dares not disobey. As absurd as it seemed, 1,000 miles from any inhabited place, and in mortal danger, I took out a sheet of paper and a pen. But then I remembered that I had mostly studied geography, history, arithmetic, and grammar, and I told the little fellow, with a bit of annoyance, that I didn't know how to draw. He replied, That's a matter. Draw me a sheep." Since I had never drawn a sheep, I redid for him one of the only 2 drawings I was capable of, the closed boa. And I was amazed to hear the little fellow say to me, No, I don't want an elephant inside a boa. A boa is very dangerous, and an elephant is very cumbersome. At my place, it's very small. I need a sheep. Draw me a sheep." So I drew. He looked carefully, then, "No, that one is already very sick. Make another one." I drew. My friend smiled kindly, indulgently. "You see, that's not a sheep, it's a ram. It has horns." So I redid my drawing once more, but it was rejected. "That one is too old. I want a sheep that will live a long time." So, lacking patience because I was eager to start dismantling my engine, I quickly sketched this drawing. And I said, "This is the crate. The sheep you want is inside." But I was very surprised to see my young judge's face light up. "That's exactly how I wanted it. Do you know this sheep will need a lot of grass?" "Why?" "Because where I live it's very small." "It will surely be enough. I gave you a small sheep." He leaned towards the drawing. "Not so small after all. Look, he fell asleep." And that's how I met the little prince. Here's the best portrait I managed to make of him later.